All right.
Let's settle in and find a comfortable seat. You're gonna wanna probably have a blanket, blocks, and maybe a strap. So as you come to your mat, sit in your blanket or a block. Just come to a comfortable seated position. Your hands can rest on your knees. You can close your eyes. Feel your body settle into the earth. Connect to your breath. Connect to your inward self. Like a nest, you have a home on the mat. Come back to this place of stillness and security at any point during your practice or in your daily life. And then you can slowly open your eyes, or you can keep them closed. And on your next inhale, raise your arms overhead and twist to the right. Put your right arm behind you, left arm, hand to knee, right knee, and twist from your heart center, not from your neck. Just a gentle twist here. And then on your next inhale, arms up to center and over to your other side. Right hand to left knee. Keeping your shoulders back and your chest open. And then on your next inhale, raise your arms up and put your right hand on the earth, left arm overhead, just stretching out the left side of your body, keeping your chest open, and maybe you gaze to the sky. And on your next inhale, come arms to center and over to the left side, stretching out that right torso. Keep your hips, your hip bones, sits bones on the earth. And then on your next inhale, raise your arms up and bring them back down to your sides. You can stretch your legs out here and just start to warm up your body. It's the change of season. We're moving into the summer. So there's an energy, you can feel the birds in the air. For that connection to your own body. Backs of your legs, your arms, connecting your breath with your movements. So we'll move to a table. And for a table, Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and your weight in all 10 fingers. So to stretch out our wrists and our hands, bring your hands, move your fingers to point outward on the sides of your mat. Right fingers facing to the right, left to the left. And just feel the stretch in your forearms. And if it's too much, you can always back off a little bit and come back to the stretch. You can even try maybe one hand at a time, having your fingers point to your knees, feeling that forearm stretch. We spend so much of our lives on keyboards, gripping steering wheels. This is an opportunity for a bit of balance. So bring your fingers back, pointing to the front of your mat, and take your right foot with the ball of your toe, curl your toes under, and just get a good calf stretch on your right leg. If you push down through your ball of your foot, you can feel the stretch on your calf, through the backs of your legs. And then take the next side, stretching through the back of your left leg. And then come back to table, and we'll stretch out our feet as well. So walk your hands back and sit back into hero's pose. And then you can lift your knees up, getting a stretch in the ankles and in the tops of the feet. And then bring your knees back to the ground, back into table. Curl the toes under. And again, sit back, walk your hands back to hero's pose with your feet curled, toes curled under. And this can be an intense stretch, so you can feel free to back off and then come back to the curled under toes. So when you're ready, we'll come back to table. And we'll do that one more time. So bring your hands back with toes uncurled. Sitting back to hero. Knees up. And then toes curled under and sitting back for that foot stretch. Come back to table. We'll just take a couple, uncurl your toes, and we'll take a few cat-cows. So lifting the head, hips up, and exhale, rounding of the spine. Inhale, look up, and exhale, tuck your belly in, tailbone in. And then just take a few moments here to connect with your body, to move the body, your body in a way to feel connected. And maybe some wiggles and some rolls. You can go back into child's pose. Just to see the connection. And when you're ready, you can come back into table. And then push back into downward dog. And for downward dog, we'll take a moment here and think about your weight in all 10 fingers evenly through each fingertip and your palm. Your shoulders will be back and down, your elbow creases pointing forward to the forward part of your mat. and your gaze at the center of your mat. So take the time here to bend your knees, get the stretch in your back, and then come to stillness. And when you're ready, you can look up and step to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then come up, arms overhead, hands to heart center, mountain pose. So I invite you to close your eyes or keep your eyelids light and consider this grounding moment. I like to think of a bird perched on a tree branch. That connection and that balance here. You can think about that secure energy from your grounded feet up through your legs, your abdomen, your chest forward, your heart open, all the way through the crown of the head. On your next inhale, raise your arms up, overhead. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, keeping your spine straight. Exhale to plank. And in plank, keep your elbows close to your torso. Take a big inhale. Exhale to the mat. Inhale to cobra, lifting your chest. Trying to keep the weight off of your hands. Exhale back to downward facing dog. And then on your next inhale, look up. Forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to forward fold. Rising all the way up to mountain, arms overhead, hands to heart center. So I suggest taking a block and putting the block about 6 inches in front of your feet, in the center of your feet. Feet or hips width apart. And come into a forward fold, arms up, forward fold, and bring your hands to the earth. Half lift, and then place your left hand on the block. Bend your left knee, keeping your hips square, and twist to the right. Your right hand can be on your hips, or your arm can be to the sky. And then on your next exhale, come to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And we'll do that on the other side. Placing your hand on your right hand on the block. Bending your right knee. Lifting your left arm to the sky. Or you can keep it on your hip. Feeling that opening on the left side of your body. And then on your next exhale, you can come back to forward fold. Move the block. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to plank pose. Take a deep inhale. Energize through the core. Exhaling down to the earth. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. And then on your next inhale, look up, step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then rise all the way up. And we'll come into chair pose. So here for chair, you can have your hips hips width apart or your feet together. And I'd suggest a block. If your feet are hips width apart, place a block between your thighs and then sink down into a chair as if you're sitting down. Your hands can go overhead. They can be in prayer. They could be goalpost arms. But you should, when you look down, you should see all 10 toes. And then again, rising up, keeping that chest open, squeezing the block with your thighs. Exhale, forward fold, remove the block. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to plank. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale to down dog. Then on your next inhale, raise your right leg to the sky. And exhale, bring it through to crescent lunge. So take your time in crescent lunge. Your hips should be square to the front of the mat. Right knee is bent. And you're not on a tightrope, so make sure your feet are still hips width apart. Your arms can be overhead. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, hands on the mat, plank pose. Inhale. Exhale to the mat. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to down dog. Then on your next inhale, raise your left leg to the sky. Hips are still square. Exhale through towards your left palm. Rise up to crescent lunge. Think about your feet, weight distributed between your two legs evenly, and that you could rip the mat apart with your legs. Take a deep inhale. Exhale for plank pose. Inhale and exhale down to the mat. Take an inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then from downward dog, place your knees on the mat, come to table. And we'll take our right foot, place it next to our right palm, and rise up. Arms can be overhead. And you want to connect here again to the earth. Strong lower half. Your legs should be engaged. You should feel your backside, your tailbone tucked in. And then take a deep inhale and exhale. You twist to the right. And again, the twist comes from your heart center. Arms out to a T. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, grab your blocks on the tallest height. And you can lean back. You can bring your blocks to your knees and flex your foot, getting a stretch in the back of your leg, your calf, the back of your thigh, your hamstring. And keep your hips square, your chest up looking forward. And then you can bring the blocks back up. Inhaling your arms overhead, back into your 90-degree angle with your right leg, knee. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, bring your blocks and bend into that left side, stretching your back of your right leg. Try to keep your gaze forward and your chest open. And then inhale, come back to table. We'll do the same on the left side. So bring your left foot up to your left hand. Have the blocks ready. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, push back, flex the foot, and keep your hips square and chest open. Inhale back to crescent. Exhale, twist. Inhale, facing forward, and exhale, stretching that left calf and hamstring. So come back to table, and then tuck your toes under and push back into downward dog. And from downward dog, you want to reach your right leg up and plant it forward into crescent towards your right palm. And strong and stable crescent. And from here, we'll move into warrior two. So drop the left heel. The right knee is facing forward to your second toe. Feeling your hips forward. And just stretch your wings here. Energy coming out your fingertips. And then we'll give ourselves a little love. So in your next inhale, straighten your right leg. Give yourself a big hug. Right arm under left. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, right arm over left. Exhale, warrior two. Love yourself. Exhale, warrior two. And then on your next inhale, flip your front palm and bring it to the sky. And you can look up to the sky or down to the earth. And then move into side angle. So you want to bring your right forearm to your right thigh, bringing your left hand overhead. The bottom stays stable as it was. And try not to collapse into that right side. There should be very little weight on your right side. On your next inhale, come back to warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, and exhale your palms to the floor. Plank pose. Take a deep inhale and exhale down to the mat. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then on your next inhale, raise your left leg up, plant it through for warrior, for crescent lunge, on the left side. Take a moment to gather. Take a deep inhale, exhale, warrior two. Shoulders back and down. And then we'll give love to ourselves on the other side. Inhale, bend, straighten your left leg. Give yourself a hug. Exhale, warrior two. Hug yourself. Exhale, warrior two. One last time, some self-love. Exhale, warrior two. Then flip your front palm and reverse your warrior. And we'll exhale to side angle. Keeping your heart open. Keeping your hips open and not collapsing down into your left leg. And then on your next inhale, rise up, reverse your warrior, and exhale, hands to the earth plank. Take a deep inhale and exhale down to the mat. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And from here, bring your knees down to the ground. Lay your arms out long or to the side. And take a moment in child's pose. Coming back to your breath. Coming back to your nest. Breathing. And then when you're ready, you can come back to table and move back into down dog. And look up, step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands to heart center into mountain. You can close your eyes in mountain. Keep your gaze soft. Don't forget that mountain is a balancing pose. So as we move into these balances, you can always come back to this one. Sometimes mountain is the most difficult balancing pose, as it gives opportunity for perching and getting ready to fly. So when you're ready, if you've closed your eyes, you can open them and start to think about finding a focal point, place to look ahead, and we'll move into eagle. So bring your weight into your left leg. Take your arms out to a T. Raise your right knee to the sky and wrap it over your left thigh. You really want to squeeze your left thighs together. You can even bring your foot around the back of your calf or just let it hang. Then bring your right arm under your left arm so that your elbows are touching and your palms are together. This can be difficult on your shoulders. So you could have your palms back to back, or you can just bring your hands together, or you can bring your hands out to the side and focus on the eagle legs. Looking forward. And when you're ready, you can unravel your arms, bring your right knee up, and plant it on the ground in front of you. And shake it out, and take some deep rolls in your body, and we'll meet back in mountain pose. Giving yourself that centering. And when you're ready, you can bring your weight into your right foot, arms to a T, bringing that left leg around, left arm under, left elbow under right elbow. And think about bringing your elbows up for the stretch in the back. And you can sink a little deeper if you'd like. You can bring your arms to the ground. When you're ready, unravel your arms, bring your left knee up, and place it on the ground. Shake it out. So coming back into mountain, we're going to step back with our right foot. Left knee is bent in crescent lunge. And bring your arms back to your side with palms facing outward, fingertips kind of facing towards the mat, the earth. And we'll move into airplane. So bring your weight into your left leg. Straighten your left leg. And your right toes are pointing down to the earth. Chest is open. Gaze should be generally forward. Keeping your hips square to the mat, and a very energized right leg. And then when you're ready, bend your left leg back to crescent lunge. Come back to mountain and shake it out. And when you're ready, step back with your left foot, crescent lunge, hips square in front. Arms can come back. Bring your weight into your right foot. Straightening. And flying. When you're ready, back into crescent lunge. Arms overhead, hands to heart center, mountain pose. So we're going to step to the middle of the mat. And what I'd say is, for the next couple of poses, have your blocks handy. And you might even want to bring your blanket to about a quarter down your mat. And we'll move into Malasana. For Malasana, you want to have your feet wider than your hips, toes pointing outward, heels towards you. I would say about the width of the mat. And then you can come into hands to prayer and just start to lower yourself, chest up, gaze up, and bring yourself down as far as you can go. For some of us, you can take a block on whatever height is comfortable and just lower to the block. Here you wanna, it's a big hip opener. You wanna have your hands to heart center and your elbows can be used to kind of gently nudge your knees a little bit open, a little bit wider. Again, chest open, don't collapse into the pose. And from here, you might want to try crow. And for crow, from this position, bring your hands to the mat, bringing your legs tucked close into your body. Bring your weight forward onto your elbows, which are about 90 degrees. And bring one foot up at a time. Maybe you bring both feet up, maybe just one toe, maybe neither. I like to have the mat, the blanket in front of me as a visual reminder that if I tip over, it'll be a soft landing. But see if you can play with crow for a little bit. And then when you're done, you can come back into Malasana and then come to tabletop and back into downward facing dog. And so here you probably feel quite a big difference in your hips, and just pedal it out, and it's okay to bend your knees. Just give yourself a moment. And then bring your knees down to the ground and table and find a comfortable seat. And so from here, again, kind of connecting to the body, shaking out those legs. They feel a little different maybe than when you started class. And we'll do a seated forward fold. And for this pose in seated forward fold, you might want to take your blanket and place it so that you sit on the edge. Gives a bit more space in your hips. So in your next in-breath, raise your arms up and exhale, forward fold. Hinging from the hips, belly button towards the thighs. It may never get close, but that's where you're kind of headed. Your hands can rest on your shins, ankles, toes, but keep an open heart and an open chest as you move into this hinged fold. And then when you're ready, you can let your head be heavier. And with each breath, see if you can let go into the fold. Take another few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And also root down into the earth. Feel the earth on the back of your legs, your sits bones. You're connected to the mat. You're rooting and grounding down into the earth. And allowing yourself to give in. Then on your next inhale, you can bring your arms up and we'll move into a boat pose. So if you're on a blanket or a block, you can move that to the side. And then sitting, grounding their sits bones on the earth, legs bent with your feet flat on the ground. Take your hands and put them behind the backs of your legs. And as you get into boat, you want to keep your chest open, gaze upward, shoulders back and down, and just raise your feet and connect to those sits bones. And the pose is very engaging for your core muscles, and that's not just your abs, that's your back, your lower back, your hips, the rib cage, and you can stay here. You want to try and keep your legs together. Arms can go out to the side. You can stretch your legs out, or you can hang out here. Then your next inhale, take a deep inhale and exhale, feet to floor, and then give yourself a squeeze. And then we'll do it again. Bring yourself to hands behind your legs, and we'll do a boat. Inhale and exhale back to the earth. Squeeze. We'll do that one more time. Inhale to boat. Exhale, feet to the earth. And then with your hands behind your, holding onto the backs of your legs, just roll back to the mat, one vertebra at a time, until you are laying on your back with your legs straight down. Squeeze your knees into your chest like a ball or an egg. And then lower your left leg long on the mat, keeping your right knee close to your chest. And then bring your right arm out to a T, left arm, left hand to right knee, and gently guide your right knee over your body. And you can roll over and you can lift your hips, but try and keep your right shoulder on the earth to get a spinal twist, wringing it all out. And then bring your right knee back to your chest and take your right hand, bring your left hand out to a T, and bring your right leg into your right knee into your right, towards your right armpit. So you open up your hips a little bit. And exhale, bring your right leg down long. Inhale your left leg up to your chest. And we'll do the same on the other side. So take your left knee and gently roll it to the right side of your body with your left arm and shoulder on the earth. And if it feels good for your neck, you can look over to the left, or you can remain neutral. And then when you're ready, bring your left knee back into the center of your body and take your left hand and bring it towards the left armpit to open up your left hip a bit. And then when you're ready, you can squeeze both your knees to your chest. And then we'll do an inversion. I suggest taking a block, or you can put your feet up against a wall, but laying on your back, bring your feet up to the sky, and you can place the block underneath your sacrum, underneath your lower back. And while you're here, you can flex and point your feet. You could do some ankle circles. You can just be still. And then when you're ready, you can put your feet back on the earth, on your mat, remove the block, and prepare for Shavasana. So you can get a bolster or blocks, put them under your knees, laying on your back. Your legs can be long. You can knock your knees, you can keep your knees up with your feet on the mat and knock your knees together. And you can even do a chest opener if you would like with a supported fish. Put your blocks behind you and lay on your blocks for supported fish. But find the comfort you need here, comfortable for your body, and then just return to the earth here. Feel the back of your body against the mat. Return to your normal breath. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight while on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings, knowing she hath wings. Begin to bring yourself back to your body, back to your breath. You can make some small movements. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Start to move your feet and your legs, your arms. Just bring yourself back here to the present moment. And when you're ready, you can move into a fetal position, a seed pose, or an egg wrapped up tightly and roll to your right side. Thinking of that moment of new beginnings. And when you're ready, push up into a seated position. Hands to heart center or on your leg, on your knees. Thank you for inviting me into this moment with you. Namaste.